In the lamination shop, this building is 20,000 square feet. It's basically 100 foot by 200 foot. And every island packet that has ever been built has been built in this lamination shop. This is the original island packet facility.
A lot of history.
And this has always been a lamination all the way through Mr. Johnston's days and then through our days.
Tell me the year it started.
Oh, this facility was built in 1979. And this was the first building he built. And then he built the building that we'll go into next. And then he built the assembly building last. And then in the late 80s, you know, he went across the street and built 250,000 square feet.
You end up pushing things across the street.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but the lamination was all done here.
Okay.
And then once they were all laminated, they would drag them across the street and assemble the boats over there. We now assemble the boats over here.
Okay.
Because we build 12 boats a year on average. And Mr. Johnson, in his best times, were building about 120 boats a year.
What is this right here?
Well, this is the deck mold for the motor sailor. And it's so what we have in here right now is mainly molds because when we're, you know, we don't use all the 20,000 square feet for lamination. We use different bits and parts of it depending on what we're laminating, what we're building at the time. So what we have here is we have a deck of a 439 being assembled. So this is called decking, so this is where the headliner is installed on the deck. And then the decking guy comes in and installs all the lights, the handrails inside, the hatches, the ports, and then everything outside on the deck as well, except for what goes on the cap rail. And then after the deck goes down onto the hull, then we install the stanchions and everything that goes on the cap rail. But we can't do that obviously until the deck is screwed down to the hull.
This is beautiful.
This is an off-white with the gray stone. It's the deck for the boat that we'll see a little bit later on, 439 number 27. And this boat is going to a really cool couple that are retiring here in about another 2 months. And that's about when we'll have the boat done.
Tell me about the process real quick.
Yeah, well, it's right now.
When you're ordering a boat.
Right now, if you gave me a check today, you would be about a year, about 14 to 16 months out away from getting a boat.
Okay.
Because we usually stay booked up 6 to 12 months in advance because we only build 12 boats a year.
Custom.
And then it takes us about 6 to 7 months to build the boat once we start it.
So how much do you put down?
Typically, if you're paying cash, you would put 30% to start the boat. And then when we get the boat about a third of the way through, third to half, about 40%, we get another third. And then when the deck goes down, we get the last third. We save 10% for when the boat's finally finished. And then they pay us all of the last 10% less $2,000 that we take when the boat's completely in the water, in their slip, they're happy.
What about financing?
We do financing as well. Okay. Probably 20% of our purchases are financed. We actually have a finance company that we worked with as a dealer in San Diego.
Is it 8.5% or something?
It's usually about 1% more than a home loan. It's not that bad.
Which is a lot right now.
Yeah, well, but I mean, if you're going to use this as your home, your penalty.
6.99% right now on a primary home. So.
Yeah, so then it'd be about 7.99 on this. Yeah. So it'll cost you 1% more to live in a boat or an island packet.
Oh, it's worth
preferably.
it. Right. I'm just trying to get a handle on the number.
Yeah, you got it?
Yeah, I got it. So
yeah, this is a mold for the swim step or for a 349.
Okay.
So you're looking at the back side of it. So every mold is going to be the reverse of the part.
Right.
Okay. So we would build the swim step on this mold, and then we will glass it to the back of the transom of the boat.
What are the major changes you made to the factory? I mean, I know the changes you made to the boats, but the order.
We haven't really changed. We've upgraded, obviously the lighting in the factory, the LED. We have upgraded the gel machine. We've upgraded the hoist. A lot of the equipment, just gets tired. We've bought a new air compressor. We've upgraded the CNC software. In usual maintenance. It's a boat factory. It's constantly.
Okay, so you were able to come in and just get started.
Well, not really.
We had the property across the street too, and that was the first hard decision.
Yeah, so we had to move out of across the street because honestly, when we started, we had 12 people and no boat orders.
Yeah, and Leslie told us in another video how you got a lot of people back.
Well, as far as workers, Island Packet had been their home for 20, 30 years. and I kind of scattered to Catalina or Compact or Bertram
Commander.
or
Last
Jupiter or, you know, Chris Craft, wherever. But when they all knew of us as a dealer in California. So when they heard that we were the ones who took Island Packet over and were trying to revive and build new Island Packets, they did want to come home.
Especially after, you know, slowly, they still all stayed in contact with each other. So one would come back and then they'd tell the other.
But many of them, you know, bought their homes close to the factory here. And now where they were working before was maybe twice the distance. So, you know, their lives were built around Island Packet. So they were able to put that back together again.
That's
and for
great.
example, we have a husband, wife, and a son that work for us. And the husband and wife have been here for 30 years and the son's been here for probably 20. And they all live, you know, within 5 minutes of the factory. We have here is a Motor Sailor number 2 with the gray stone hull. And then what happens when we build the boats is we build the hull first, and then this area is called hull prep. So this is basically a raw hull that's been built, and then the lead has been installed in the keel. And then the Cusa board has been installed for around the tank grid. This will become a tank grid, and that's the engine where the engine sits, and that's all Cusa board. And the legacy boats, it's all plywood. Okay, so one of the upgrades that Leslie and I did was we got rid of all the plywood that we could in the boats and changed it to Cusa board, which is a synthetic product which will never rot in the bilge, will never be eaten by termites, it will never warp, it will never go away. So it'll be there for as
Water
long as
won't
fiberglass
damage
is.
it.
No, it's impervious to water.
Yeah,
They use it
and
on bridges in some places. I mean, it's amazing. We did a lot of research about it.
yeah, so our main fuel tank will go there, a water tank will go forward, and then our holding tank will go forward. So this will be the tank grid is what this is called. So once the tanks go in a couple of weeks, then they'll come in and they'll run the hoses, the wires, they'll put the through hose in, and then we'll drop this here, which is called the internal grid unit, or IGU. And that's what forms the floor in the boat. It forms the settees in the salon. It forms, obviously, the forward stateroom that we just got off of. Basically, this is a Motor Sailor about 20% built.
Okay.
Okay?
And when we were talking about customization, we can't change the IGU.
Internal grid unit, and that's not necessarily true. You know,
It'd make it harder though, wouldn't it?
well, you know, it depending on the change and how much time it takes us to do it. Right.
Too late in the process. No, sorry.
Well, but we don't start any boats till they're sold.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so-
But you know, people
But for
change their
this
minds
one.
along the way.
Very true, Tinsley. That's very true.
Yeah.
And we have a cutoff point where once
Okay.
we start the boat, it's got to be pretty much done. Now, if you want to change cushion color or countertop
Right.
color, yeah, we could do that. But we're not going to be obviously change fiberglass color. We're not going to be able to change wood color because all that is already done. That's all been ordered, you know, and it's already
Wow.
done.
What is?
So this is
okay,
a 349 mold.
Okay. We
That,
saw this.
and this is a 439 hull mold.
It's massive. To see it like this, it's just so
Isn't it?
massive.
It's
Yeah.
amazing, huh?
Yeah.
And then we've got an IGU mold here. And then this is a headliner mold. This is obviously an arch that's in the process of being built. So it's basically starts out as 6 pieces. The outside skin is 1 piece. This is another piece. This is another piece. And that side is another piece. So it's actually, 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces that go into building this because you can't build this in one mold. It wouldn't pull out of the mold. So you have to build each side and put them all together. And then when you're done, you have to make it look like it's all one piece. But believe it or not, there's a seam right here that you would never know when we get to this point. Yeah.
You couldn't tell.
And then this is a headliner that we're building for 349 26. And we're going to see it later on. This is the plinth that we put on top of the arch to hold the solar panels. So this sits on the arch, and then the solar panels fasten to this, and there's usually 4 plinths at the very top of the arch. So 2 to support each solar panel.
So you think this is better than stainless steel? Just less maintenance?
Oh God, yes.
You still
And
have to
that's money.
polish it, yeah.
A stainless steel arch today, have you priced it?
Not lately.
$25,000, $30,000, and we do the fiberglass arches for $20,000. Plus, they have a built-in davit system and the davit line runs straight to the primary winch. So literally you can push the button on the primary winch and raise the dinghy up.
Dude.
So this is, everything started here. Every island packet ever built started right here in this gel coat booth. We have a little cherry picker or hydraulic, chair that moves around in the mold to be able to spray. And I don't have the lights on here today. I actually don't really know where the light switch is. Yeah. This is our wainscoting mold here. So we actually vacuum bag our wainscoting. So it looks like it's ready to be gel coated, and then they'll put it in a bag. They'll lay the fiberglass in, they'll put it in a bag, and they'll pump resin in from one side and they'll suck it out the other. So it's called
this is the
infused.
actual mold?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, for the wainscoting.
Okay.
So the vacuum bag is very even.
Yeah, so it's basically resin, we infuse the resin and it goes through the fibers completely. Yeah, it's actually the best way you can build a fiberglass
So this is
product.
a very historical room right here.
This is it.
And
Every
speaking
island
of
packet's
history,
ever built.
I love history.
Before this was a boat manufacturer, it
Yeah.
was a monkey farm.
No way.
Yeah, well, that's the rumor.
Get out of
And in
here.
some ways it still is.
Said.
Yeah.
We got to get
So-
some local knowledge on that.
For every big part, so there's 4 big parts, 4 big modes for every boat. The hull, the IGU, the headliner, and the deck. But then we have hundreds and hundreds of small parts. Little lockers, little wells, little, hatches, the companionway slider, that's a completely separate mold. The cockpit hatches are completely separate molds. I mean, there's just, so many different,
Moving parts.
yeah.
And those cabinets up there? Or
Oh God, who knows what's up there? That's probably something we didn't want to throw away right now, so they just stuck up there. So this is a part, again, one of the arch molds. In fact, that I don't know if that has a part.
It says 439 on it.
Yeah, that may be. Oh, look at there.
it's an actual
This
piece.
is the mold. This is the piece.
And what is this? This is
This
good.
is the side piece to that
Okay.
arch right there. The the outside piece.
Oh,
Or actually,
I
it's the
see.
inside piece.
I see.
Because this is the little cutout right there on the inside.
Okay. We got to see it. It's in all different stages here.
Yeah, so that's the other
So
side.
this is a mold.
And this is the very top of the arch.
Okay.
So that's why I say it's 5 different molds to build that arch. And then you glass them all together and finish them all out to make them look like one piece. Now, I don't know anybody that builds a nicer arch than we do.
It's immaculate. Everybody loves it.
So we'll walk out of the lamination building, and then we use this area here for tooling. So right now we're not doing a lot of different tooling projects.
What do you do with all the old molds? Like the
Cut them
20
up and throw them away.
What?
Yeah, yeah. No,
Like the
your
27,
mold, your
the
320's
320?
gone, the 350's gone, 380's gone, 370's gone.
And they were gone long before we
420's
bought the
gone,
company.
Packet Craft's gone, Packet Cat's gone, 31, 27, 32, they're all
Yeah.
gone. Because you don't have enough
Shouldn't
space.
it go in the Smithsonian or something? Should have an
I don't know
IP
that they-
museum.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. So we have a 349 number 25 right here, and this boat's about 30 days away from shipping, so it's in the paint area, and you can see we've mastered off for the boot stripe. So
No teak on this one either?
I'm
Is
sorry?
nobody doing teak?
No.
No, we don't. No, we offer a teak eyebrow for an extra charge,
Not
but
one
nobody
person.
wants it. Well, 2 boats I guess have ordered it out of 70. We built about 70.
But
boats
you'll
since we've
do
been
it if
here.
somebody asks for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't do a teak caprail. I can't. We've changed the
changed
hull to
them
deck
all.
joint.
Yeah.
I see.
On the legacy boats, the hull to deck joint was under the caprail. On ours, it's more of a shoebox fit, which is much more conventional to the modern technology.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It is hard to take care of, but it looks so good.
All right, and then we'll leave this area. This is about 10,000 square foot area here. And then
Well,
we're
what's
gonna
with
go.
the little sailboat over there? The
Oh,
little-
well, that's actually one of our employees. That's Bobby's boat. And Bobby bought that, and it was kind of a hurricane damaged little boat. And he asked if he could bring it in and work on his spare time, getting it
yeah.
fixed, and so he could go sailing and get it back in the water. So Bobby's a hard worker,
Very
and
hard
there's
worker.
nothing
Very
that we
nice
won't
to your
do for
employees, yeah.
for our guys that work like Bobby does.
So this is wood in here.
Yeah, this is our obviously our mill, and we've got planers and table saws and router sanders and you know, drill presses, and back in the corner we have a CNC router that we do a lot of the intricate cuts on.
And all this was here. I mean, you've also, obviously you have to upgrade.
Well, we added the mezzanine on top. The router was actually here. We built some of these tables were here, some of them we built. When we took over, they were basically building, maybe 1 or 2 Seaward 32s a year, because Seaward bought Island Packet from the bank, and they were building a couple of 26s. So it was the guy that owned Seaward and bought Island Packet from the bank. Did it for a hobby. He wasn't in the boat business, you know. He just wanted to play with boats.
And it's still on the name, Seaward.
We still own the name Seaward, yeah. And we may bring it back out with some type of a product someday. Oh, here's the back seat to the motor sailor that they didn't get in. They were supposed to have this placed in the cockpit. So this is the aft-facing seat for the motor sailor, and then of course storage below. And
I remember you saying it would go right in front of the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's room big enough for 2 people, and of course we'll have a cushion on the back.
Okay, so let me ask you. Okay, so we have people that can afford a new boat, and then we have people that want to do a trade-in, and then there are people that would want to bring a boat here and get work done. So
our refit business, you know, what we've learned is you know, most factories do refits because they don't have enough new boats to build. And in the end of Mr. Johnson's days, that's what they started doing. So there were some refits done here at the factory at the end of the time because he didn't have any new boat sales. We have plenty of new boat sales to keep the factory alive and going and happy and well. But what we've learned is there's a real need for refit. As these boats get older, you know, they need a refit.
Well, then nobody can do it like we can, and we make sure that it's cost effective. And
yeah, we'll you know what, we'll beat anybody's price, and we'll do it factory certified at the same time. So we've got right now the gentleman who's running our refit department is Bill Charles, and Bill's been associated with Island Packet for over 40 years, and there's nobody more knowledgeable on the legacy boats than him. That's currently anywhere working.
he probably built almost every Island Packet.
Or been a part of every Island Packet
so
that's been
how
built.
do you get a boat in here?
Well, you know, we would obviously, a lot of the refits don't have to necessarily be done in the factory.
Okay.
So far we've done a 44 and a 38 in the boatyard. So they wanted to, say, replace their standing rigging at the same time as we did the chain plates. So we would do the chain plates, and then we'd have a company called the Yacht Riggers do the standing rigging, and we would haul the boat at the Yacht Riggers boatyard.
Okay, you work with Yacht Riggers.
Oh,
I
we
love those guys.
Yeah, Will and
They're
Steve.
the ones that did all my stuff.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
They're the best rigger company I've ever been associated with.
Richard is the dad, and
Yeah.
I met them when they were working out of the back of his house.
Yeah, exactly. And they're great people.
Yes, sir.
So we trust, they rig all of our new boats, and they help us on the refits where they need help. But for example, we have an Island Packet 31 refit coming up. He just had his standing rigging done, and when I say refit, mainly it's chain plates or tanks on the older boats.
I know they do the external, but
we don't.
Because they did the external, and it was fine. I'm like 27, but I kind of have gotten where I'm a little biased now, because for resale too.
Yeah, exactly. To me, the external chain plates, you know, look kind of homemade or you know, like you did it in your backyard or something. Let's do it the way the boat was designed by Bob Johnson.
So they will do it the original way for you.
We will. Yeah.
Okay.
So we will handle, you know, the cabinetry. We'll take the cabinetry out. We'll take out the chain plates.
And it'll be at their yard.
Yes. Or we can even, if you don't need the rigs.
St. Pete.
Yes. If you don't need the rig changed out, we can actually do it in the slip.
Okay.
So we do one side at a time. So, you know, we stabilize the side, we take out, say, the starboard side.
How far do you travel?
Well, we stay in St. Pete.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a relationship with the Harbridge Marina in St. Pete, and we have 2 50-foot slips there that we deliver our new boats out of, and we bring boats back for warranty, and we use that area there, and then we use a slip if we need to for refit as well.
Okay.
So we've refitted a 38, a 44. This is a hurricane damaged boat that we had to bring back to the factory to refit because there was no choice. That boat was damaged by Hurricane Milton and had nearly $500,000 worth of damage on it. So that was significant. A boat of that significance, we will bring back to the factory. That's a 439, number 21.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but if we can do it in the water, we'll do it in the water. We have a 380 coming up, but their boat was damaged in Milton as well in their slip, and we're going to be able to repair it at the Harbridge Marina, because it's mainly stuff on top of the deck. There's a little bit of fiberglass work.
You can inspect mine.
Exactly, at the marina.
Okay.
Yeah. So there, to haul a boat, take the mast off the boat, haul it out of the water, get it on a truck, get it here, and then get it back is about $15,000.
In addition to the
to the work. So if we can keep you from having to spend that 15 grand
very nice
and keep it in the water,
yes.
it's much better. Or haul it at a boatyard, you know. So if we can't do the work in the water, then our second choice is haul it at a boatyard, because putting it on the truck, Tinsley, probably over half of our owners are legacy owners.
Yeah.
Or half of our buyers, should I say, of the new next generation island package.
You want to make
them
legacy
happy. Owners.
Yeah.
And not only just make them happy, we get emails on a regular basis and we send them to different engineers. Jerry Swartz, who's retired but was here back in the day, and he still works out of his home for us, and we'll send questions to him. You know, Warren, you know, as one of our engineers here, he answers questions, I answer questions. We try to keep up with the legacy questions and needs as much as we do the new boats.
And so the trade-in thing, and I'll wrap this up, but that would be interesting to a lot of people.
Well, we love island packets.
Right.
And so even if you want a brokerage island packet, we'll help you with that. We have a resale division. Island Packet Yachts Resale is a separate company that I'm part of. And Scott Barone runs it for me. And so we've resold 485s in the last couple of years, probably what, 3? We've resold a couple 465s. We've resold a couple 420s. We've resold a couple 380s. We've resold 1, 2, 3, 4 439s. And so we do very well with that. So even if you're not in the market for a brand new boat, call us. You know, we're helping.
Because you might have a legacy boat.
Yeah, we're helping several owners.
So you could even upgrade to a legacy boat here.
Oh,
maybe,
yes.
maybe.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Right now we have 2 465s listed. One's under contract. We have 2 485s listed. One under contract. We have 2 439s listed. Actually 3. One under contract that we're doing. So, you know, we do very well with the resale business, and the refit business is just as important to us, because we believe that people should have an option. Okay, so if you want a second opinion on your refit, call us and we'll try to make it work out. And I know there's another vendor in Florida who's telling 320, 380, 370 owners that their chain plates are bad, and I'm sorry, I'll stand up and I'll defend that all day long. And out of all the chain plates and all the boats that are out there, we don't know of more than about a dozen that have actually failed. And they were on the 27s and on the 31s. We've never heard of a 3-digit series island packet ever failing.
Even a 98?
And honestly, when they pull them out of the boat, they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. And in 98, Bob Johnson changed the way that they were installed
so
that they wouldn't collect
then.
water. So somewhere in 98, you know, that was changed. 99 or newer, you know, it's exactly like we're building today.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, but before you give somebody $20,000 to replace chain plates, call us. We do it for less, but before we change them, we're going to inspect them to make sure they actually need to be changed. We don't make a living off a refit. We do it as a service.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Salty Ben and out.